Dear students, today we are going to learn the first chapter, that is motion. So the first question is, what do you mean by motion? What is motion? So an object is said to be in motion when it changes its position with respect to time or with respect to its surroundings. So you can write these lines that an object is said to be in motion when it changes its position with respect to time or with respect to its surroundings. Similarly, we can define rest. Rest, an object is said to be in rest when it does not change its position with respect to time. For example, with a book lying on the table, the object which are in motion, for example, a car is moving on the road. But there is an important thing, that rest and motion are relative terms. I think you can also write a definition for rest. Simply you have to write an object is said to be at rest when it changes its position, does not changes its position with respect to time or with respect to surroundings. So you can write a definition for rest. And then an important term is that rest and motion are relative terms. Rest and motion are relative terms. What do you mean by this line? That rest and motion are relative terms. That suppose you are sitting in a classroom, you think you are at rest, but someone who is observing you from the other planet, he will feel that you are in motion due to motion of the earth. Similarly, suppose you went to see off your friend and the train starts moving, so you think that your friend is in motion, but at the same time your friend is at rest with the things which are present in the compartment. For example, with respect to the sleepers, with respect to the fans, he is at rest. And for you, it seems that he is in motion. So whether the things are at rest or in motion, it depends upon the observer. Totally depends upon the observer. Because when you are sitting in a classroom, we observe that you are at rest. On the other hand, when someone observes you from another planet, you will feel that no, you are in motion. So rest and motion are relative terms. Now next we have to read that how we can describe motion of an object. So next topic is describing motion. Now we describe the location of an object by specifying a reference point. A reference point is needed. For example, in your book it is given, let us consider that a school in village is 2 kilometers north of the railway station. So the school is located 2 kilometers north from the railway station. So the railway station is the reference point. If we have to locate the school, so how we can locate it? That we have written it is 2 kilometers, we will move north side from the railway station, then we will get the school. So railway station is the reference point. Similarly, we have to specify the position. Similarly, we can choose other reference points to, for example, if you have to just to describe the position of your school, you can say that it is 2 kilometers towards north from Kukarchak, like this. So in this way, the Kukarchak is the reference point. Now a reference point is needed to describe the position of an object. We need to specify the reference point, and this reference point is called origin. So you write these lines that to describe the position of an object, to describe the position of an object, we need a reference point and this reference point is called origin. So this is the first step, that whenever we have to describe the motion of an object, we have to choose a reference point, and that reference point is called origin. Now we will take example of simplest type of motion. Simplest type of motion, that is motion along a straight line. So motion along a straight line. I think you have taken the NCERT book. You open page 99 and figure 8.1. Page 99, figure 8.1. You look at the diagram. That diagram is like this. So suppose the object is moving in a straight line path. It starts moving from point O, it reaches to point A, which is 60 kilometer apart, and then it returns back, it reaches to point B, crosses B and finally reaches to point C. So on x-axis they have taken distance on kilometer. Now you must go through the book and learn this line that the object starts its journey from O, which is treated as a reference point. So the object is start moving from which point? From O. So O is the origin or reference point. Okay. A, B, C are the distances traveled by the object at different instant of time. So what is the total distance traveled by the object? It starts moving from point O, it reaches to point A, it returns back, crosses point B and finally reaches to point C. So total distance is how much? O to A, then A to C. So I can write OA plus AC. Now OA is how much? It is 60 kilometer and AC is how much? You just count. There is a gap of 5 kilometers. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So 35. So 85 kilometers. So total distance is 85 kilometers. Sorry, it should be 60 plus 35, it should be 95 kilometers. Okay. Now there is another term. That term is displacement. Displacement. Total distance we have calculated OA plus is. So you can ask what displacement is. Displacement is shortest straight line distance between initial and final point. So the initial point is O, origin, and what is the final position or final point is C. And what is the straight line distance between these two points? OC. So displacement is OC and it is 25 kilometers. Isn't it? So what distance, how you can define distance? Distance is the length of actual path traveled by the body. Isn't it? Whereas displacement is the shortest straight line distance between initial and final position. We can make our concept clear by taking more examples, and it is your homework to write the difference between distance and displacement. Later we will learn about scalar and vector quantities also. That the scalar quantities are those quantities which have magnitude only, which can be described by their magnitude, whereas vector quantities are those quantities which are described by their magnitude as well as direction. So here the distance is a scalar quantity and displacement is vector quantity. So suppose we are taking another example. Suppose an object is moving in a circular path. Suppose an object is moving in a circular path of radius r. Isn't it? it is start moving from point A. So A is origin. So if I ask what will be the distance and the displacement covered by it in one full revolution. So what will be the distance and displacement after one complete revolution? So what do you think? What will be the distance? Distance will be simply circumference of the circle. It starts moving from point A and then again come back to point A. So distance will be simply circumference of the circle, that is 2 pi r. And what will be the displacement? As I have said, displacement is the shortest straight line distance between initial and final points. So the initial and final points are coinciding. It starts moving from point A and after one complete revolution again come back to point A. So the initial and final points are coinciding, so displacement will be 0. So in this type you will get different type of questions. Suppose a object is moving in a circular path, and what will be the distance and displacement when it completes half round, isn't it? Then you can also get a question that someone is suppose moving towards east direction. He has covered a distance of 4 kilometers towards east. Then he take a right turn and move 3 kilometers towards north. And you have to calculate the distance and displacement. So as you know, you can name the points A, B, C. So in this case, distance will be equal to 4 plus 3, so 7 kilometers, isn't it? And what will be the displacement? For displacement, you have to join the initial and the final point with a straight line. So displacement will be equal to AC, isn't it? Now, how we can find out AC? Use Pythagoras theorem to calculate AC. It will be root over 4 square plus 3 square. So it will be 16 plus 9, so root 25, so 5 kilometers. So you can get various type of questions based on distance and displacement. Now I have said about scalar and vector quantities. So that is also an important topic to discuss here. So scalar quantities are those quantities which are completely described by their magnitude. What is magnitude? Suppose here distance travelled by an object from O to A is 60 km. From O to A is 60 km. So if we are writing OA is equal to 60 km, then this 60 is magnitude, isn't it? And this kilometer is the unit. So if I say that a force of 50 Newton acts, how much force? 50 Newton. Then this 50 is magnitude. And Newton is the unit. So some physical quantities are completely described by their magnitude. Such quantities are known as scalar quantities. For example, are distance, speed, temperature, volume, area, etc. There are so many quantities. If we talk about these quantities, speed, distance, temperature, volume, area, only magnitude are required to explain the quantity. No direction is not needed. Suppose we talk about area, we say that area is 100 meters square. So the 100 is the magnitude and meter square is the unit. You can't ask in which direction. Similarly, volume is suppose 1000 meter cube. So direction is not needed to explain it. Only magnitude and unit are required. So such physical quantities are known as scalar quantities. Then we have another type of quantity, that is vector quantity. Vector quantities are those quantities which are completely described by their magnitude as well as direction. So both the things are required, magnitude plus direction. For examples are when we talk about force, velocity, displacement, so these are examples of vector quantities. When we are talking about force, we have to know the direction of the force. Suppose we say a force of 100 Newton is acting on an object, then the question is in which direction. So without mentioning the direction, the information is not complete. So the force is a vector quantity. Similarly, if we are talking about velocity, we have to mention its direction. In which direction? Magnitude only not explain it. So magnitude as well as direction is needed to explain the vector quantities. Okay students, for today we will discuss this much, and you must go through NCERT book, and tomorrow we will discuss more questions related with distance and displacement. Thank you.